Hi, it's Penny here again from the Patchwork Angel, and today I'm going to talk to you about needles. Now, you will say to me, a needle's just a needle and I stick thread in it and I stitch with it. But I'm here to tell you today, right now, right here, that a needle is not just a needle. There are the right needles for the right job, and there are good needles and there are better needles. So I'm going to run through a few. A lot of our customers ask me to often tell them what needles need to be used for what. So I thought I'll run through what we've got, just a few of them, and give you a few ideas and see if it helps you. So the first one is the chenille needle. The chenille needle has a very large eye and is a very sharp needle. We have them in packets assorted or in single sizes. 20s and 22s are probably the most popular with our crazy patchwork girls because they use them for the silk ribbons for silk ribbon embroidery. I also personally use these for what I call my rustic quilting, when I use a pearl thread or a sashiko thread for drawing through and doing very basic larger quilting stitches on something. So that's something you can use those for too. They're very sharp, but the eye is flat and large, okay? The next one is the petal play needles. Now these are made by Applebond. These needles are specially designed for getting through lots of layers of adhesive web or Vlisafix, whichever you want to call it. The point of the needle has a triangle point like a leather needle, and the eye of the needle is the same size as the shaft of the needle. So once you thread it up with your 2 strands of embroidery floss, once you've pulled through that first section, the eye just pulls through the fabric and the adhesive web beautifully without straining your hands. And I don't know about you, but I get a little bit of arthritis in my thumbs, and if I do a lot of blanket stitch off and they get a bit sore, but with these that really helps. So they're a great needle. They're the Petal Play Applebond needle. Embroidery needles, of course, you use for most of your basic embroidery stitches. So that's stem, back stitch, chain stitch. I'm sure you'll all think of lots more. Embroidery needles, probably our favourite size is a 10. So we use those for all our basic embroidery. And of course, Clover is a lovely needle. They're not expensive, they're very reasonably priced, and they have a gold eye, which makes them easy to thread. Now these are Sue Daly's little milliner's needles that she uses for English paper piecing. We have them in 3 sizes, a 9, a 10, an 11 and a 15. And you get 10 needles in the pack, and they're a lovely fine milliner's needle. Now a milliner's needle, the eye is the same thickness as a shaft, but in order for that to happen, the needle is often longer. So these are great for English paper piecing. I also use them for putting bindings on, and you will find they'll bend over time because they're so fine, but that's okay. We have competitions in the classroom as to who has the most bent needle, and because it gets to be your favourite and you really like using it. So they're available. They're great for lots of uses as well as English paper piecing. So don't just think inside that square for those. My go-to pack of needles is always an assorted milliner's pack. You can do almost anything with this, I think. I like the length of the milliners because, as I said, for binding, it gives you a lever that you can tuck odd threads under with when you want them to get out of the way. But their main use is for French knots and bullions and bullion roses, and we've had some lovely new patterns come in from Faded Rose Designs, and they've got lots of beautiful bullion roses in them. So I would certainly recommend using a milliner's needle for those. They're also called straw needles, that's the other name for them. So obviously they've been used by milliners in the past, or hat makers. The bowen is probably my favourite, but the Clover is quite acceptable too. There again, they've got that gold eye, making them easy to thread. But this is probably my favourite one, and I probably have more packs of those at home because I keep losing them and taking home another pack. Sashiko needles. Sashiko needles are a very sharp needle. They're not as fat as the chenille needles. We normally have the Olympus ones as well, but they're out of stock at the moment. They're our sort of budget one. Then there's the Sashiko Clover with the gold eye. And then there's the tulip needles. Now tulip are a beautiful quality product. When I was talking about there's needles and needles, these are the Rolls Royce of the Sashiko needles. You get 6 in a pack, so they work out as almost the same price as the Olympus needles that you get 2 in a pack, but they really are a beautifully engineered needle. We also have a few others in the tulip range. We have milliner's chenille. I think I've got some embroidery there, and I've been trying to build up that range because I've been so impressed with their Sashiko needle. With Sashiko needles, in this one you've got 3 sizes, so you've got a small, a medium and a long. The long you use for your straight stitching, the small you use for your curved stitching, and the middle one, well, if you can't find your other 2, I suppose, I don't know. but that's, I've been told, short for curve, long for straight stitching. Okay, so that's a little bit about needles. I hope you find that helpful. As I say, it really makes a big difference to use the right needle for the right job. It makes a big difference particularly to your French knots and your bullion roses if you use a milliner's or a straw needle. And you'll really enjoy your stitching if you use a good quality needle. So that's it from me today, and I'll talk to you about something else soon.